Hello, my dear Cancers, and welcome back. I'm so excited to have you all here. Welcome to March, and I hope you all are feeling this influx of springtime energy. I don't know about you, but I always get sort of New Year vibes when it starts getting sunshiny outside. It's like just this new breath of fresh air. So let's just take a moment here and cleanse your intuitive space and just really remaining open to the messages that will be coming through. And I would encourage you all to release expectations. If you have an intention for the reading, that's okay. But just know that this message will be for your highest good, from your spirit realms, from your spirit guides, your higher self, your spirit team. And you will receive exactly what it is that you need to hear today for your highest good through the avenue of this reading. So I've taken the liberty of already setting out your cards. Let's begin with the positions. This is your center, or the basis that this reading will be focused on. We have your past here. This is your mindset or your goals. Then we have your spirit messages from the spirit realms, and your forward action step. Over in that direction, we'll get more cards on the table as we get an idea of the storyline. And this is the Lenormand, which is just read from left to right like a sentence. Again, just giving us that clear view into the story of what's going on. So let's begin here. We have rest. Very cool way to start. I really felt that energy clearing for you all when I had the sage and the Palo Santo. I feel like this is something that you really need. I believe these are chamomile weeds here, medicinal plants, I should say. And this stone here is jade, and we have the world tree carved into it. And this person here, male or female, doesn't really matter, is sitting here absorbing that energy. There's a rejuvenation happening here. The chamomile is about relaxation, allowing yourself to ease anxiety, things like that. So let's go into your past. Okay, we have a rhythm here. So some of you may be pushing yourselves a little too far and then burning out. And this rhythm and internal timing, this is about creating habits for yourself. It could be self-care, it could be just simply sort of a consistent schedule that you follow. And when we have things like that, I suggest not going by what looks good on paper, but more so from a state of what your energy is like on a day-to-day basis. So if you're feeling like you crash at the same time every day, what if you were to eat a really good solid meal right before that time of day and see if that changes anything? Things like that. So let's go into your mindset here, and we have the Heyoka. This is a character in Native American theologies that's very much the class clown, and he's very highly revered as a trickster. So the story behind him that I like to tell a lot is he would be wreaking havoc on everything, and he's meant to do that. He's supposed to do that. So if, say, he came up on your camp and just started dousing everyone in water, you would have two choices. You either make it a wet t-shirt party and allow things to continue to flow, or you storm off angry because you're soaking wet. And the tribe would not be looking at him because he's doing his job. They would be looking at you because you're either going to react or you're going to respond. And I've been diving into human design. I don't know if any of you have looked into that. Excuse me, I'm also recovering from a cold, so I might have a little bit of a sniffle. More clearing of the throat than usual. But anyhow, I've been looking into human design, and a lot of them are waiting to respond. And this whole mythology of responding. And in this card deck, there's actually a card that says the ability to respond. And I'm feeling that very much for you here, which is avoiding a knee-jerk reaction. that might just be what you would do naturally to fall into your daily rhythm, but instead really thinking about your reactions or your response to the outer world, to the outer experiences that come to you. And your message from the spirit realm is self-reflection. And I really love the essence behind this card, because a lot of people know of the painted face to be war face, right? Put your war face on. Paint your face and get out there. Go do it. But there was actually all sorts of different people who would paint their face. So you might be the wise one. You might be the young one. You might be the nurturing one, right? It doesn't have to be the warrior. It could be many different things, and only you will know what your face paint really means, right? So in your forward action here, upside down, we have intentions, intent. So smoke signals. They would fan their smoke or their fire with big blankets and have it be sort of like a Morse code type situation. And people would go on these vision quests, you know, hiking out into the middle of nowhere for long periods of time and being alone. And in so doing, they would build these little intentional fires, and the messages would transcribe to the ancients or to the other realms or to the spirit realm. They call it the other side camp. But in any case, this is a call for you to really understand what you're calling in, what you're manifesting, because again, it was upside down. And you have this reminder here of going light, lightening up a little bit, seeing the humor in all things, seeing that opposing opinions or opposing viewpoints can still be humorous, and just having that lighthearted conversation rather than having it wear you out or having it be a competition of any kind. Okay, so we have here the garden, more communication. This is where people would go to visit one another. It's this beautiful place. It actually reminds me a lot of the Akashic Records. This is what it looks like to me. And I don't know if any of you have been looking into that or seeking it at all. But if you have, the Akashic Records is such a magical piece of the world of, oh my goodness, you all. I did not realize this, but at the bottom of the deck here, we have records. So some of you may be feeling called to looking into the records, and the stones are, yes, earth connection and about, so the story behind the stones is people believe that wherever you walked, or if you went to have a vision quest, or you went to have an experience on the earth, of course you are, but on a vision quest of some kind, the stones would remember that record and they would store that information. And then when people would walk through that same power place, as it's called, those future generations would feel that and they would say, wow, this is, you know, something big happened here. So the stones keep the information. And so we have here the records. And so I just thought that was very serendipitous. But again, this is a place for you to come forward and come to be with your spirit guides, your spirit team, and also your community. So very interesting there. It is upside down with the intent. So somehow or another, the records that you're radiating or that you're giving off or that you're expressing, because we have self-expression here, are in need of a reset of some kind or another. Okay, then we have the bouquet. I love that. And if you all hear any weird noises from behind me, my poor husky is inside the home and he pants. So if you hear really deep breathing, it's just the fact that my husky's inside and we have a heater and he doesn't like that much. He would much rather be out in the snow. Okay, so that's that. But you have the mountain here, which is challenges, moving uphill, so to speak. Loyalty with the dog. Okay, and then DNA, with the tree here, and this is sort of another indication of human design, gene codes, DNA codons. This is a series of 12 DNA codes, and human design is 9, and then the chakra system is 7. So just lots of different things you can do to sort of research those higher knowing, you know, kind of how we mentioned the records here. It's just knowing parts of yourself, because the more you know about yourself, the more you can truly express yourself. And that's what you're really being called to do here. And then we have a commitment here at the end, which is most likely a commitment to your goals with the smoke signals here, and also a commitment to being true to yourself. Loyalty, commitment, and in the center here is health, or your DNA, your gene codes, your human design, your Akashic records, just that soul contract, okay? Or your soul, what do I want to say here? Yeah, your soul's records, that's what I want to say. So, community has good tidings around the mountain that you've been climbing. When you are loyal to yourself, give yourself time and self-care, and commit to your goals. So we'll come back around to that. Let's get some more cards out. Let's see what is in your past that may have been suppressed, or could have like a, depends on what the card is. And here at the bottom here, that's why I paused, is because I'm looking at this one. Feeling loved and proud. This is such a profound card to me. We have this feminine nature here, and we have this bird that she's sort of holding onto with her leafy hands. And the bird is not encaged, she's not enclosed. It's just this feeling of being held and being protected. You may be able to hear that pant. He's getting a little kind of like motorboat. He's like snoring almost, so it's kind of funny. But okay, this is before I even shuffle. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that one because I feel like that's very meant for you. And let's see what is ready to be released, or what is going out of your past right now. Okay, let chance play its creative role in your life. And I'm reminded very much of this one here. And I'm hearing things have to fall apart in order to get back together again. So this mosaic concept here. Allow yourself to break down. It's a very interesting concept, but when we become overwhelmed, or we get to this breaking point, and then we go on that drive, or we get out of that situation, or we move through those feelings of breaking down, we end up having a breakthrough, and we begin to take things a little bit less seriously and begin to think to ourselves, okay, well, maybe it isn't so bad. Maybe, you know, the wet t-shirt party could be fun, and, you know, it could lead to bigger, better events, rather than trying to stay into my little circle that feels better. So there's this kind of condensed type energy, and it comes from wanting to take care of yourself, and it feels like self-preservation, but indeed, instead, you're closing somehow, and for some of you, you're closing the channel for things to get to you, because overall, this is the vibe that you're looking for, is to be proud of yourself. And, you know, if people around you aren't giving you this nurturing and this earthy connection, then do this for yourself. I think that's very important. And the next one in line here is merge with the flow. And I think that's really beautiful. Just the greenery here of merging with the flow of the earth and of the world. So letting yourself have that breakdown, that breakthrough, going into meditation, something like the Akashic records, which I teach, by the way. If I didn't mention that before, I know I went on a little bit of a tangent, but I love it so much because there's so much learning that we have to do about ourselves, about our inner rhythm, about how far we go before we have this crash, on what we're radiating outwardly. And I'm really feeling human design for some of you as well, and I'm doing readings for those also. So reach out to me if that calls to you. I won't sell you too much on that, but it is an option. If it's something that you're drawn to, let me know. I feel like many of you would very much benefit from doing some of that inner research, that inner, sort of an inner guidance system is what I'm being called to. There's like this loyalty of yourself, but I'm also feeling a lot of like education when it comes to looking at yourself, your intentions, how you radiate energy. That's something that's very important to you. So in your mindset here, we have focus at the bottom of the deck here before I even shuffle. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that one out because I just think that's really beautiful. Okay, so we have two more here. Leadership and potential. Wow. Okay, so this is like time and space. I mean, just look at the colors here. This is about that Akashic Records journey. And, you know, for those of you who aren't familiar, it really is just meditative journeying and understanding how to use that as a muscle and just really give yourself that self-care moment. And I love this purple color here too, where it's just letting the universe in. I think that's where a lot of you are, is just you're ready for the inner intervention. And your goal here on this earth is to be this leader and to see the peak potential that you have. And I mean, look at the power in stride here. This is again about your self-expression and finding your peak potential of what it is that you can accomplish, because you're here for this leadership growth. And I think that's truly, truly gorgeous. So I'm going to go ahead and put all of those together here. And let's see what's on the bottom of the deck for you now. And we have forgiveness. Okay, so there may be something going on or has gone on a long time ago. Maybe you didn't realize was running the show. But a lot of times, many of us have something to let go of. I mean, everyone has that background story, right? But I think for some of you, it's this feeling of being loved, protected, held, nurtured. It's like that feeling of the home hearth fire, right? For some of you, you may have lacked that connection, sort of that one-on-one community type connection that some of you are just sort of missing right now. And a lot of us are in lockdown still. Sometimes the stores are open, sometimes they're not. It just depends on where we live. But there's something to let go of in the regard of other people, it seems. Okay, moving forward to the connection to the spirit realms. What is the message for my dear Cancer in terms of their spirit team? Okay. Gratitude. This came up for another sign as well. I want to say Aquarius in the exact same place. So it's interesting. It says, be grateful for abundance, live in appreciation for what you have, and more good things will come to you. What I love the most about this card is the hummingbird. And this is a totem that my grandmother used, my mom uses it. They just love hummingbirds, like hummingbirds everywhere. And it's by no mistake, because hummingbirds are about joy and happiness and living in a state of overwhelming joy, because they are able to just run around this life being attracted to all these beautiful flowers. And not only can they smell them and see them, they look just like them, and then they also get to taste them and drink of nectar as their whole life. So their life is just full of this very beautiful, aligned, extravagant, colorful existence. And we see a lot of color here for you with the space and the universal source energy connection, and even with this commitment there. At the bottom of the deck here, we have cycles, and it says, we are all becoming. Surrender to your chances, or your changes. Release your fear. Trust this powerful process. Very cool. So some of you, again, I'm kind of reminded of this here with the purple color, and also allowing and surrendering. That's going to be huge for many of you. Just recognizing that what is for you will always come, and that there's nothing you have to do or intend for or press on in order to find what is meant for you. It will always find its way to you. So it's okay to relax. It's okay to enjoy the world around you. It's okay to focus on the bigger picture, the commitment that you have to this world, to yourself, and a commitment as well to your own habits of self-care. I think many of us just get to this point where we're in this really weird guilt stage. I personally went to the gym 2 days in a row. I know, it's so crazy. And I just was overwhelmed with guilt because my youngest daughter, the daycares aren't open, so she was with my mom, and my daughter has been wanting to get into fitness. She wants to understand it. I have a 10-year-old and a 2-year-old. And then my boyfriend also has just been talking about how he wants to go. And I was like, well, I get to go. And how sad is that I'm the only one? But we have to get into the zone of being loyal to our body. And we're seeing that with the self-expression, with the DNA codes, with the rhythm, the habits, the internal timing, and here with rest. So your body is your vessel, and you must take care of it. Okay, next at the bottom of the deck here, this will be your expression, what's coming forward from you, what you're radiating outward. And we have protection here. This is a very beautiful card because we have the Swan. The Swan is all about graceful energy through life. Just this really ease and flow. And she has this really cool sort of staff here. Let me see. Yes, it does look like an object. At first it looked like water flowing, but it's just interesting. So she's got this like angelic view about her. We have the moon high in the sky, roses here, so another indicator of the flowers. We've got flowers in several different corners here for you. So knowing that you are safe and protected is going to come through very strongly for you. But what is being suppressed here for Cancer? What are we expressing? Okay, we have 2 cards that came out. Grace and release. Wow. Okay. So there is definitely something I think we saw in the forgiveness card. So this is very similar to the forgiveness. You are ready to release it, whatever it is. It could be something from your past. It could be something in your present that's really just weighing you down, making you feel a little bit like you have had enough. So let me pull that forgiveness card back up. I run out of room very easily on this table. So forgiveness will go here with the release. And then the grace here. I love how both of these look very Hindu. So again, the chakras, the cultural balance, this cultural understanding, this graceful dance as we go through life. So, excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and put that one here because we have this dance going on, and I think that that's really gorgeous. And then at the bottom here, we have gratitude. So another repeat message from your spirit team. This is your spirit team coming forward to say you're okay, you are protected. It's time to just really look at what you have and think, isn't that wonderful? I've made it this far. Oh my gosh. I just realized at the bottom of this deck, which was the center here, we have grace a second time. So yeah, many of you, I feel, have just been in a little bit of a funk. Let me try not to hold the entire deck at once. So many of you have been in a little bit of a funk, and it would just bring you so much joy. Maybe to send yourself flowers, you guys, because there's so much color in this world, and you deserve that, and you deserve to be loyal to yourself in order to do that. I would actually challenge you guys to order yourself flowers and just see what that feels like. And we also have this springtime energy coming forward, with it being the 1st of March. So maybe some walks through garden, which we see here, would bring you this ultimate joy and sort of this spark back to life, as you're releasing and letting go of many things. I think it's also going to be very important for you to ignite the soul and ignite sort of those colors that are coming forward for you. Let me see if I can get these to sort of match here. I have to leave enough room for the other cards that I know are coming. So let's move some things over. And as I'm doing this, make sure you guys take a moment to go through that description box, because I have a lot of different resources there that hopefully will call to you as you're doing this healing journey, which it seems that you are. Again, it's been in the name of self-protection and self-preservation, and there's nothing wrong with that, and going through the motions, going through the process of, honestly, it feels quite a bit like pushing yourself. Just be careful not to push yourself to any kind of point, right? We kind of get this breaking point here. So really take care of yourself, have those self-care moments guilt-free. So let's dive in now to what it is that is causing your motivation. And at the bottom of the deck here, we have the Blasted Oak, which is a combination of the Tower card and the Hanged Man, as this person is upside down getting a new perspective, but it has been given to him or her by a lightning strike. So the lightning in Tarot and Oracle is always representing the universe intervening, which we have seen earlier with this card here, and also with the taking things lightly, really just allowing the universe to come in for you. Yes, as I mentioned, I think many of you are just in sort of a mundane funk. It's just every day looks the same. I wake up, I do the things, I get tired, I rest, I wake up, I do the mountain climb again. I'm in sort of a cycle. And I like that this is called boredom, because this is somebody who, you know, and don't take this wrong, it's just the cards speak, okay, who doesn't know how good they have it. And we had gratitude come forward lots of times there. This is a graceful person. I mean, in the tarot, the surroundings and the clothing and everything are everything in the cards, okay? So we have overflowing vessels of water, and flowing water is always emotional release work. So the meditation for releasing and healing. And then we have the leaves sprouting, so fruitful ideas for fertile ground. And she's fully clothed in nice clothing. And there's even this little doorway here behind her, which means there's options. She could go wherever she wants to, and yet she's just kind of stuck in this feeling of like, okay, I have more than what I need, or I have enough to get by, or maybe just enough to stress to the end of the month. And, you know, we're all kind of have at least been there at some point where it's like, okay, I make this much money and I need to pay this much in bills. So we're just like one step behind or one step ahead in order to not be behind or what have you. But look at the energy here. This is so very similar. And it could so easily be shifted into this energy here of just, I'm going to make this life a dance. I'm just going to take myself out of that feeling of overwhelm and burden and release what's no longer serving me. Once you do this release work, which is your next action step, once you take that upon yourself and say, this is what I deserve, is to release myself of what's not serving me, to release myself of this burden of XYZ past experience. Excuse me. That is where you see yourself truly fly. So 2 of them came out here, and oh my goodness. Wow. The Queen of Air, which is the Swan. I can't believe that. Didn't we have another Swan? Let me see. I thought we had a Swan come through on one of the cards, but maybe it's just me losing my mind. Okay. The overall energy of the Swan is grace, and I think that maybe it was in another card reading. Am I losing it? Okay. Either way, a definite repeat message for you. Maybe I just was thinking Swan because you got grace, graceful energy, this feeling of gliding through life, this colorful energy. So yes, the Queen of Air is going to be the queen of new ideas, the queen of the mind, the thought processes. So that could most definitely be what's driving you right now, but also really understanding the energy behind the Swan, which is a graceful approach, this dance through life, this recognition of the purple flowers that are in all of these cards for you. So some of you may be kind of receiving a message from the other side if you had someone who oftentimes sent you flowers, or, you know, a past loved one who loved the color purple. Something could be coming through there. Okay, so dance through life. If the life gives you a bucket of water, grow plants. Okay, so moving forward there. So what also came through here is 3 of bows, which would be the 3 of fire, and this is fulfillment. So this is about making choices. We also have the balance going up, which is the DNA strands. So we see DNA twice. This is about making choices and decisions based upon how that's going to make you feel internally. And we have this internal timing or internal clock there. So really you're being guided to follow your intuition and let the universe in. And here at the bottom of the deck, we have the Mirror, which I like to call the Seer. We have the Water Bird here, which is about self-reflection, looking at what you have, looking at where you're going, looking at the parts of you that are worth celebrating. And we have the self-expression here. So definitely something that you are doing. And of course, the Mirror is that self-reflection to help you then have self-expression. So this is actually a Hanged Man card as well. So 2 Hanged Man cards came through for you, and she's holding the moon and she's holding the mirror, and then we have a past person who is on their journey away from the physical realm. Okay, so, which doesn't have to mean anything. It's just part of that perspective shift. She's helping them to shift from the physical to the other dimensions. So another indicator, you may be a spirit guide yourself. You may be here to help other people to release, and this is in your future. So a lot of you may be called to the aspects of healing. Maybe you want to offer services like Reiki, or you want to sort of be guiding people, because we have leadership here, potential and focus. So this is just kind of on the back burner. You still need to focus on yourself first. You need to get yourself in a state of inner peace. And once that happens, then the universe can intervene. And once the vengeance happens and you're focusing on that self-expression, then you're going to send your intentions out there into the world, and then these things will manifest. So this will show us the aspects of you that are coming forward to aid you at this time. And right at the bottom of the deck here before I shuffle is the Ace of Earth and this Earth connection. And I really love how much of that is coming through for you. You have a very strong connection here to the Earth element in sense of community, in sense of feeling loved and held and taken care of, because the Earth in the traditional tarot is the Pentacles, which is about material things, material gain. So some of you may be thinking greatly about income and income streams and having it feel a little bit burdensome. So I'm going to pull that top card off. Wow, the next one in line is the King of Earth. So we have the Ace and the King right next to each other. Interesting. Okay, so let's see here. It's just another indicator of that Earth element. And the masculine is the left brain. Sorry, I tapped the mic there. We had some fall out, so let's see. And I think it's going to be this one. Wow, of all the cards. I love this card because I love all of my cards, but this is a challenging one because it's perception, and its message is there's something you're not seeing, and that can be very hard. So an aspect of you is diving deeper, and that is indicated in a lot of different ways here. We felt the Akashic records very strongly with things like this here. We felt some human design with the DNA here, or just simply self-care, self-reflection, and now we have reflection on other things, perhaps in your thought process. In fact, with this healing and this forgiveness here, there's a layer of it that's ready to be coming forward for you. So let's see if we can get another shot here. Wow. And death and rebirth coming forward for you. So the snake sheds its skin, the eggs crack open in order to birth the new idea, the new things, and the skulls are what the remnants that we leave behind. And then I just saw this card here, which is now at the bottom of the deck, because I just keep pulling cards off the top, so I do that sometimes. So this death and rebirth cycle is coming forward very strongly. I mean, even the colors down to the orange and the green, it just sometimes boggles my mind how similar. So this is the Rites of Passage, and it says change down here, and we go from the red road, which we start as a baby, and we go up as the human, and we go up, and then the spirit transcends, and then we go on this blue road, and the blue road is the spirit realm. So there's this really beautiful release work happening, and you know, a lot of us go through these really intense soul deaths where it's just sort of this feeling of losing everything, and it doesn't mean that that's where you are, but it can be for some of you. And the lesson there, if that's something that you're going through, is just release what's no longer serving you. There's an aspect of this that could definitely be all in your head because you have a lot to be thankful for. And we want to avoid this energy here, which just is burnout. And it's burnout because you're perhaps deprived of calories or water or, you know, self-care of whatever kind. So give yourself that. Give yourself that renewal, that rebirth, that spark of life, whatever that is for you, because you're very much called to it. This spark of life, this new energy, which we see here at the bottom of the deck with the Sun card, that blast of energy, which also happens to be here, where the universe intervenes, gives you the lightning strike. You then have to fall, and you fall on your head, you know, and you're bejumbled, and you're just, well, what is this? And then you wake up the next day, and you just think to yourself, wow, life is fleeting. right? Life is short. There we go. So there's something that you want to create, Cancer, but I feel that something in your perception has been holding you back, and you just need to release what's no longer serving you so you can move forward with the path of least resistance, and just really asking for that assistance from your spirit team will be very useful. And we have the journey here. So you're beginning. You're at the start of something very cool, something very new. If this is an entrepreneur journey, let me know, specifically if it's about spiritual services, offering healings, offering coaching of some kind, because I'm a business coach and I just love hearing about other people's ideas and what they're doing. And, you know, if it's to have retreat centers, if it's to help people to grow or to educate people on things like the Akashic Records or Reiki or human design, that's just my jam. I mean, I just love it. But look at the similarities here, down to the cloak and everything. Wow. I'm seeing the infinity symbol. We have this staff here. We have the butterfly there as well, transformation. Then we have a salmon up here, intuition, following your intuition. And the snakes, which is the DNA. Very, very beautiful. And these just came out 2 at a time. I know I get a lot of cards on the table. I sometimes have to apologize for that, but let's just get your animals. For my dear Cancers, I might need to rearrange. So give me just a moment, and as I do that, just sort of be focusing on what your next step is as far as research and making life just a little bit more fun. How can you bring more fun, more fulfillment, and more of an energetic, open communication with your higher sources? And just feel like life is a dance. I mean, life is just this really beautiful blessing. And then we have this dog. So something going on here around loyalty. Interesting. So some of you may have relationship stuff. I don't like to go into too much love relationship readings on general readings, just because that can be so definitive. So if you're interested in a personal one-on-one reading, whether it's love related or business or what have you, let me know down in the description. I'll put all of the things there. Okay, so one more animal. What animal is coming forward to help Cancer today? Okay, I knew the swan was going to be a big deal. How is that? Okay. All right. Interesting. We have a lot going on here to cover, even just from the animals. Okay, so perception, deception. Something's going on, probably in your mindset, perhaps around fear, holding yourself back, not thinking you've got it in you, being burnt out, something with the self-care, something's going on that you're not seeing. And I know that is such an awful thing to hear, but it could just be the fact that you have clothes on your back, you are probably running a refrigerator. And I like to talk about this a lot because not a lot of us can say that we're part of the 1% of the world's population that hold, you know, the wealth and the millions, but only 8% of the human population has a refrigerator. So most of us can say that we are in the top 8%. And that's beautiful. So just remembering that gratitude piece, it will help you to clear your mindset and to get yourself in the position where at very least you are aligned with manifesting, because there's something going on in your thought process where you're talking yourself out of walking up that climb and making that climb. And then we have the graceful energy of the swan coming through for you twice. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So you're meant to dance through this life And the ways to do that is to have this beautiful rhythm that just says, I'm here to have a good time. If someone rains on my parade, let it come. Like, let them try, right? Because I know within me that I am powerful enough to maintain my stamina, to remain loyal to myself. You can put that here somehow. Dog and dog. Two different dogs. And then there's a couple of these that stood out to me that are on the bottom of the deck. The turkey, the giveaway ceremony, which is of course like Thanksgiving and that thankful energy. And the lesson behind it, it actually got misconstrued a little bit by the native people trying to communicate with the colonizers several hundred years ago now with the story of Thanksgiving. And it was a lesson in manifestation. And they said, if you have gratitude, everything will be yours and you will live in absolute abundance. And you will have your needs met because our Turtle Island, this place where we live, is so abundant and so nutritious and so beautiful. So there's always an energetic exchange to everything that we do. So if you're looking to get services from somebody, statistically, you will receive that message better or more clearly if there's some sort of amount of money paid. For example, random example. We have to make space in order to receive. And that's the biggest lesson here is you have the intention, you have an idea, but it's being put on the back burner because you're sort of talking yourself out of it. You're not really into letting the universe take the wheel, so to speak. So it's time to really release and forgive whatever it is in the past that is holding you hostage a little bit there. And the next one here is the grouse, which is the sacred spiral. And I love this so much. This is sort of what we're doing, on the table as I go around several times, is diving deeper through the method of going about the wheel. And now I'm seeing at the bottom of the deck, of course, this spiral here. And this is on clarity. So this is getting a higher perspective, a bird's eye view, getting out of the current situation, or similarly, diving deeper, going into the spiral, which is what the grouse does. That's what they're known for, is they will cover more land altogether because they will literally go in a spiral in order to excavate or to forage that entire place, whatever those surroundings may be. So allow yourself, Cancer, to feel the feelings. Okay, some things might be intense. We just went over a full moon, getting into a spring equinox type energy. So perhaps there are some things to just get rid of. I like to think of this as clearing out the wallet before the money comes in. It doesn't always have to be money, but you have this leadership role, this really beautiful idea, and it's still in the beginning stages and you're still starting from somewhere, but you're working on your inner peace, you're working on creating space and expressing yourself, telling the universe what you want, and getting into a rhythm of your body working for you and you taking care of your body as well. So stamina is a huge deal here. The rites of passage journeys, as well as looking at what you have and being like, okay, I can relax. I know where my food's coming from. Most of us, hopefully, that is it. But more than anything, trust that your universal guides and your spirit team have your back and that you will not be left out in the cold. You're not going to be left behind while the rest of the world prospers. You are meant to be on this train. You just simply have to run and kind of catch it, and don't ask yourself, well, I don't know where the stops are. I don't know where, who's going to be on the train. And I don't know where my luggage went. I lost it somehow. It's like you're kind of in your head. So instead, it's more just like, I've got my backpack, I've got my shoes, I've got the clothes on my back, I've got a well-rested body, so bring it on. Because all you really need is that one-on-one connection with the universe. You literally need nothing else but to trust yourself, reach out to your community, send yourself flowers, spoil yourself, and give yourself that fulfillment, and release anything that feels like guilt, shame, misunderstood feelings, the opinions of others. There's like a fear of growth, a fear of manifestation, something going on, some icky, tossy-turvy energy, which is easy to clear. It's really simple to find, or easy to find, mindset coaches, life coaches. They're out there, and I believe everybody needs a life coach, spiritual coach, what have you. And I am one if you feel called to me, or just find one. They're easy to find. But the Akashic Records is calling your name. That might help to release this mask. I think there's so many of these masks going on, even on the painted face, which is about self-reflection and an empowered reflection of you. But there's so much, there's something that is not being seen or not being recognized about how you're manifesting, or what you're focusing on, or where your goals lie. It's underlying. There's so many layers on top of it, where there's going to be much release work to do, and that's so common. Please don't feel like, oh no, she just told me that I can't do anything until I heal. No, it's not really like that. It can be, and if you want to dive deeper, then do so, either with human design and your internal rhythm, your alarm clock, your internal ability to create change and to move forward in the path of least resistance, and really feeling like that's what you deserve. You deserve to be able to move through this life without fear and without judgment and without fear of judgment. Okay, so reach out to me if you feel called to either human design or Akashic Records, business coaching, life coaching, spiritual coaching. I do those things. This is where my heart is, and this is what I love to do. So reach out to me if you feel it. Check out the description box for all the ways to reach out. Just take care of you, Cancer, and I will see you next month. Bye.